Welcome to story time with the Amigurumis. Today, Kitty and the Night. Once upon a time, there was a little cat named Kiti who lived in an ancient city. Every morning, she went out early to walk along the cobblestone streets to Mrs. Goose's bakery, where she said hello to her friend Gaspar, a fat and lazy orange cat who slept in the sun among the flour sacks.
Good morning, Kitty. What a beautiful day, isn't it?
Said Mrs. Goose. Good morning, Mrs. Goose. It is indeed a beautiful sunny day. Good morning, Gaspar. Still sleeping? Replied Kitty. Gaspar stretched, yawned, and tipped his hat in greeting. Mrs. Goose handed Kitty a loaf of bread and went back to baking the rolls that would soon turn into delicious bread for the customers who came to enjoy her treats. With the steaming loaf in her basket, Kitty walked home and sat on her balcony to enjoy her breakfast in the sun-poured coffee with milk and served a toast spread with butter and orange jam. In the afternoon, Kitty went for a walk among the cherry blossoms where she met her friends, the mischievous cats. They were a peculiar group of cats, all colors and shapes, who played at night around the city and slept all day.
Hi, Kitty. Tonight we're going to jump from rooftop to rooftop until dawn. Come with us?
Said the little black cat.
Yes, come on. You never join us after sunset. What kind of cat sleeps at night? Ha ha ha.
Teased the little gray cat. The truth was, Kitty had a secret. She was afraid of the dark. That's why she always missed the night adventures with her friends. She felt too embarrassed to admit it after all. What kind of cat doesn't go out at night? So she gathered her courage and replied, "Of course. Tonight after dinner, I'll meet you here. See you later, friends." Kitty went home very happy, baked a ratatouille in the oven, and got ready for her nighttime adventure. She put on her hat and left just as the sun was fading behind the clouds. She walked bravely down the familiar streets, but once the sun disappeared completely, everything changed. It was a moonless night, cloudy and dark. Suddenly, everything looked strange. From a tree, two huge yellow eyes were watching her. Whose eyes are those, kids?
A monster!
Kitty hurried away and turned down the next street to escape the monster with yellow eyes. Then the clouds moved and the moon lit up a giant claw reaching out to grab her. Whose claw is that, kids?
A giant monster!
Terrified, Kitty ran clutching her hat so it wouldn't fly away. She reached a hidden alley and suddenly heard a deep growl. Then she saw huge teeth. It was a giant wolf slowly coming toward her. What animal is that, kids?
Wolf! A giant wolf!
This time, Kitty dropped her hat and ran as fast as she could down the cobblestone streets until she finally reached her own street, glowing under the yellow lamps. She jumped into bed and pulled the covers over her ears, shivering like a leaf, promising never to go out at night again. The next morning, Kitty was very tired after her nighttime adventure. She went as usual to Mrs. Goose's bakery, but the goose noticed she wasn't smiling like always.
Good morning, Kitty. What's wrong? You look so tired,
said Mrs. Goose. Good morning, Mrs. Goose. I don't know how to be a good cat. The other cats all play together at night, but I'm so afraid of the dark.
I'm afraid they won't want to be my friends anymore,
said Kiti sadly. Mrs. Goose thought for a moment while wrapping up a warm loaf for Kitty, then said, "Don't worry, dear. We've all been afraid at some point. There's no shame in it. You probably didn't know this, but I was always afraid of flying." Imagine that, a goose, afraid to fly.
But that's how I learned to bake breads, cookies, croissants, and all kinds of treats. I stayed home and baked while my friends went on their flying adventures. Little by little, with their help, I managed to overcome my fear. Cheer up, Kiti. Talk to the mischievous cats. I'm sure they'll understand.